name is Garrett from the AzureADA stake pool, and in this presentation I'm going to discuss stake pool delegation strategy. This is important in order that you can maximize your investment in ADA. This presentation will cover three main areas. First, provide an overview of the delegation and rewards process, and then a guideline for choosing a stake pool to delegate to. ADA delegation. To begin with, delegation is one of the incentivized activities promoted by the Cardano network protocol. It has a reward mechanism that encourages activities which increase the network's resilience and decentralization. These rewards are handed out to both stake pool operators and their delegators. You can think of this as analogous to the dividend reward process from the financial services industry. In short, I will make an analogy to that process. First, delegators, similar to an investor, delegate a representation of their ADA to a stake pool. This can be thought of as similar to an investor buying stock in a company. Then, periodically, via the network protocol, rewards are automatically calculated and distributed to the delegators. This is similar to a dividend reward payment. One thing to remember is that at all times, delegators maintain complete control over their ADA. Delegation is merely a representation of your ADA on the network, and no stake pool operator should require that you send them your own ADA. So, to finalize things here, I'm going to go over a little bit of guidance about how you should choose your stake pool. The first thing to consider is the stake pool reliability. You also need to keep in mind that this process requires a little bit of patience, and that there are a wide array of stake pool parameters to consider. First, most importantly on the reliability front, you have to remember that rewards are given to stake pools and delegators based on their ability to produce a block on demand. What this means is that the historical performance of a stake pool can be considered a reliable indicator of how technically adept that stake pool operator is at managing their core operations of keeping their stake pool up and running. Because a stake pool operator does not know when they will be required to produce a block. For example, the AzureADA stake pool has been around since the ITN, Incentivized Testnet days. Next, a stake pool should be managed and maintained by professionals. This is the core operations of a stake pool. They should have high reliability and scalability built into their system. Keep in mind that failure to produce a block on demand by a stake pool is analogous to the loss of rewards, both to the stake pool operator and to their delegators. Another thing to remember here is to have a little bit of patience. The stake pools themselves are selected by the network randomly. So, regardless of whether a stake pool is well run or poorly run, it is still a random process that takes some time in order for you to be able to get a good idea of their reward scheme. The best thing here is to wait a few epochs before you consider moving or changing your delegation. In the stake pool parameters, there are several things to consider. I will only talk about a few of them. The most important is the saturation point. So a stake pool cannot accept an unlimited amount of delegation and still pay out rewards to all the delegators. There is a saturation point as determined by the network itself. The stake pools have no control over this. Once delegation exceeds this saturation point, those additional delegators do not earn rewards on their delegation. Second, pledge. Pledge is the amount of ADA that the owners and operators of the stake pool set aside to run that stake pool. This is equivalent to skin in the game and is an indication of how serious the stake pool operator is. There are many other factors to consider, but there are also publicly available, freely available tools that you can use to do additional analysis of those additional parameters for stake. In closing, I'd like to thank you for your time and hope that you consider AzureADA when you choose to delegate your ADA.